superstar sophomore for things. We'll have that interview dropping at. Take a look at that after our initial breakdown and Week 7 recap. Brody, get to the Blitz Breakdown.
Let's do it, man.
All right, we got to start off with our game of the week. Beachside blows out Troy Creek. Game close at half. Beachside led 10-7 going into the halftime break, and then outscored Troy 35-7 second half. Vincent Gallela, 4 touchdowns, 100. Impressive performance.
Yeah, man, and like you said, the first half, it was a tight ball game. I think Troy Creek was doing a good job of playing some good bend but don't break defense and also possessing the ball for a long time in the first half. Each time they got the ball, they would get multiple first downs, keep the drive going. They scored a touchdown, and they were doing a good job of slowing the game down and taming that Barracuda's offense that that can score 21 in the quarter at any time in any game. So they're doing a good job. But Beachside was at halftime they figured out what to do and they came out in the second half. They got a pick out of the half on a screenplay, almost returned it to the end zone, and then after that I think it was all she wrote. Beachside just kept piling on the scores. But really good game by them. Eddie Jordan threw the ball very well. Didn't really need to sling it like he usually needed to. The running game, Gallela, man, he had a great night. And, Barracuda's good win for them.
Sure, and you go into that Beachside offense that Drew Watson, it wasn't as big of a factor in that thought going to. But overall, from that Beachside team, that's an offense that's that defense.
Yeah, they did, and they were getting they were getting pressure on the QB. They were stopping the run when they needed to. Dolan had a really good night, but that's one of the best backs I've seen this year. So, no knock on that. They did a pretty good job there. Beachside's defense really showed up in that game, and they did what they needed to do to get out with the win. I mean, holding Troy Creek to 14 points is really impressive, and good job by them on that. You got 2 mics over there, Noah.
Yeah, I'm guessing that we're having issues with my mic, and look at that. I can hear myself now. I was wondering about that, but, I wasn't getting any words about what's going on with the audio. I was looking over there. I saw the levels weren't quite right.
Yeah.
But I wasn't getting any words like, stop the show, what's going on? So I just kept going, but I could hear them all talking about it in the booth back there. So I'm just like, I've got the corner of my eye going, but I feel like my audio's good now.
Yeah, don't mention the mistakes.
Nobody knows about anything. The show's just normal, and we're going to keep on going into Creekside and Fleming Island. What a thriller that was. The Creekside Knights scoring the game-winning touchdown with 16 seconds to go. This is a game, Brody, that every single year comes down to the final seconds.
Yeah, and Creekside does it again. Fleming was hanging around for a while. They had the lead at some points in the game too, but Creekside just, finding a way to win in those Fleming Island games. And at this point, I can't tell you why it keeps happening. I don't know why it keeps happening, but Creekside just finds a way to win against this team. And, I'm looking down. 10 carries, 69 yards for the safety Jackson Earl, and he had 3 touchdowns.
That Wildcat formation, man.
Yeah, he's making it work. And Davis Baldwin ran the ball very well, too. He ran over 125 yards, so good for him. And it looks like Creekside had a good running game, but also, it was a weird Fleming Island Creekside game. They always are weird, but this one, Fleming had 2 special teams touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Just a very weird game. You got Jackson running for about 70 yards, and I think he ran it the whole field down on that last drive to go ahead and punch it in with 16 seconds to go. Good win for Creekside, and that was probably the most fun game to be at last week.
Yeah, and you might be getting, I don't know, in our heads we got a little preview of an interview which is later to come, and I'm going to rephrase that because I'm not 100% sure if everyone heard me, but we got Brysen Wright joining us at 8:20. I went over to Mandarin, got an interview with him yesterday. Great conversation coming up, and then Coach Kevin Sullivan talking districts with us at 8:33. And yeah, that Creekside Fleming game, a big one for the Knights, a big win going into a district championship battle this week, and Jackson Earl just continues to play great football for the Creekside Knights. Another game last week that was catching a lot of eyes in the area, a battle of the one-win teams, Trinity Christian and Riverside. Who is going to advance to 2 wins on the season? 2 teams who are better than their record show, and that ended up being a pretty good matchup, Brody.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a really good one going into it. It's a hard game to predict. I think I had Riverside winning this game, but Trinity's defense really showed up in this game and stoned that Riverside offense that has proven they could put up points. And, good win by Trinity. I bet it was one of the better games in the area last week. Always a fun time at the Conqueror Stadium. And, Trinity's, getting their pieces together. And like you said earlier, both these teams are better than what their record shows. They just play a lot of good teams in the area. And, it was a good game. Look at that pass right there. Wow. Both teams struggle to get some wins here and there, but both teams are really solid, and Trinity could still win their district if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. District championship with what should end up being the district championship with Episcopal on Friday night. We'll get into that matchup a little more later. But Terrell Dallas had himself a big-time game on the ground. The quarterback rushed for 126 yards and 2 touchdowns. This is the second win of the season for Trinity. But all they need is 2 more. They need to beat Kipbold City and Episcopal to punch their ticket into the playoffs and win a district championship. One team that had a big-time that was a game that was stressful for the Ed White Commanders going up against Atlantic Coast. That was a game where AC led Ed White 21-20 entering the fourth quarter, and man, did the Commanders explode there in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, it's a good bounce-back win for last week. Ed White had a heartbreaking loss in a shootout against Merritt Island, I think, last week, and they go in and beat Atlantic Coast. Again, hanging around with Atlantic Coast, probably a team that shouldn't let Atlantic Coast hang around with them, but hats off to Atlantic Coast for being in that game. But Ed White figured out a way to pull away in the fourth quarter, and this Ed White team's is one of the most fun teams to watch in the area. They have a high-flying offense. They rarely, I don't know even if they scored under like 30 points yet. Like they just light up scoreboards. And good win for them. Their rushing game is still doing really good. 6 touchdowns on the ground for the Commanders. And they're moving well. And their defense, I think 21 points is pretty good in high school football. So good job all around for Ed White. They just got to show up for 4 quarters in their ball games, and I think they could have a deep playoff run this year.
Yeah, that was really an interesting game there from Ed White. They turned the ball over 4 times. They fumbled it 3 times, lost 2 of them. They had 2 interceptions as well, but 6 rushing touchdowns from the Commanders. That's a game where, listen, they survived. And you look at the final score, 48-21, you might not expect that, but that was a game that Ed White had to survive. And there's certain points of the season where that's just what you have to do.
Yeah, you do. And getting wins isn't easy in high school football, and they figured out a way to do it against Atlantic Coast. They're at Atlantic Coast, too. Could be a tough place to play at times. Atlantic Coast is usually a gritty team, and they've upsetted a bunch of good teams in the past in their program's history. And, Ed White was, could have been them with those first 3 quarters after this first 3 quarters showing. But then again, they figured it out in the fourth quarter, and they figured out the way to win. And, that's what good teams do. They figure out a way to win. And, hats off to Ed White's defense and offense, right there. Good pick right there. Good job by Ed White to pull out the win against Atlantic Coast. Very tough to play in that stadium at times.
Yeah, and that's a place. Look at that field. That turf field, definitely an upgrade from what they had there before. I'm sure you would have liked to play it on that back in your days going up against the Stingrays.
Yeah, I would. Their old field was maybe not. It wasn't full of grass. It was like a sand pit almost.
It was. It's a dust bowl.
But now they got a great field over there, and it looks beautiful. By the way,
yes, it does.
And I bet it's really fun to play on that turf instead of that sand pit they used to have. But again, good win by Ed White and Atlantic Coast. I thought if being in that game for 3 quarters, they got to finish it if you want to win. But I think that's pretty impressive out of them, and they probably are really hungry going into this game this week against Creekside.
Yeah, that's a team that you can see taking strides forward, and they've been competing this season. They've got some wins, and they're going up for a district championship on Friday night. They ended up almost coming back against Creekside last year. That was a game where they made some plays on special teams, and that was a really wild finish. And the Stingrays, going into that game, they have a solid chance. They're going in on the road and they're going up against Creekside for a district title. That's going to be a really interesting game to watch. And for AC, you can see that program under Step Durham starting to take those strides forward and become a competitor in their district and try to get to the playoffs. That's what AC is looking to do there. Some other scores from around the area. Fletcher over Flagler Palm Coast by a score of 28-12. Providence beat Impact Christian 34-12. Bishop Kenny over Rickards. Rickards sounds more correct there. What do you think, Brody?
I don't know. I'm not an English major.
I'll go with Rickards.
Yeah.
56-14. Orange Park beat West Side 45-6, and ESJ over NFEI in a district clash 23-12, and that sets up the district title, what should be between Episcopal and Trinity this Friday. Moving on now to our rankings heading into this week, and this is we see a little bit of movement here recently, and let's take a look at what we got. The Rains Vikings stay up top with St. Augustine sliding in at number 2, Bulls number 3, Mandarin at number 4. Bottom half of the rankings, the Nice Panthers coming off their bye week in the 5 spot. The Oakleaf Knights right below them at number 6. Beachside slides up a spot after their big-time win over Turquoise Creek. And the Bradford Tornadoes, a team that was in the top 8 at the start of the season, back in there. Ed White drops out of the rankings going into week 8. Back after this break, we've got an exclusive one-on-one interview with Brysen Wright coming up on the Blitz Breakdown.
Most of us know how to throw. But you need to know what to throw. I'm not talking about footballs, baseballs, softballs. We're talking about those items you need to recycle. Republic Services explains it easy. Recycling simplified. 1. Know what to throw. When in doubt, throw it out. 2. Empty, clean, and dry those materials. It takes an extra minute, but it makes a big difference. And 3. Don't bag it. This makes the recycling process faster and more efficient. This is a look at the Republic Services North Florida Recycling Center. You can make this process even more efficient. By utilizing those 3 steps, Republic Services can help you become a better recycler in your home. Learn more at recyclingsimplified.com. Burgers or breakfast, you can get it all at Whataburger. Try something new on the menu or an all-time favorite like the Whataburger Patty Melt.
And now you can have breakfast here at Whataburger 12 hours a day, 11 p.m. until 11 a.m. Menu items like the bacon taquito, sausage taquito, honey butter chicken biscuit. Whether you work the late night shift, just want a snack early in the morning to get your day started, or a little pick-me-up late in the morning, 12 hours a day, breakfast served, 11 p.m. until 11 a.m.
A dozen locations in Jacksonville. You can order pickup or delivery and download the Whataburger app. New rewards members get free Whataburger items when placing their first online order. Just download the app. And for us coffee drinkers, Whataburger has all new hot coffee and iced coffee too. Satisfy that coffee craving at Whataburger 24/7, and it comes in a variety of flavors. Burgers, breakfast, coffee, and so much more. Whataburger, just like you like it. Baker Sports. It's a hometown business filled with hometown people trying to make you feel right at home.
Chris Conley, Jacksonville University.
Walker Wright, class of 2018, West Nassau High School.
Michael Young, Fletcher High School.
Baker Sports started in a grassroots way and now outfits much of the Southeast.
Tony Mazzio, Sandalwood High School, class of 2002.
High school sports, travel sports, youth sports of all kinds. They are a one-stop shop carrying Nike, Adidas, Under Armour brands, and more.
Vincent Caldes, Oakleaf High School.
Samuel Coffrin, Paxton School for Advanced Studies.
Whether it's sports teams on the field or it's your team in the workplace, like our Action Sports Shacks team, and community events like the Dream 18 Golf Tournament, and many others.
Cole Tilley, Hilliard High School.
Reagan Webb, Eagles View Academy.
Look good, feel good, play good with Baker Sports. Custom sports apparel since 1997. Shop with the hometown team at bakersport.com.
Welcome back to the Blitz Breakdown, where we are heading into our second segment. Yesterday, I got the opportunity to head over to Mandarin High School and catch up with the guy who's been getting a lot of hits here in the area, having a great season, and the sophomore sensation, one of the better talents we've seen in the Jacksonville area in recent years. It's Brysen Wright, and here is my one-on-one interview with him on the Blitz Breakdown. Hit it. Hey everyone, I'm here with star receiver for the Mandarin Mustangs, Brysen Wright, the sophomore sensation here at Mandarin. And Brysen, you had an incredible freshman season last year, just at the age of 14.
Yes, sir.
And you've come out here. We're going into week 8. You have almost matched your receiving yards total. You have more touchdowns than last year. What's the biggest difference for you on the field from your freshman year?
I'd say playing both sides, definitely just having a bigger role on my team, having to play both sides, so knowing I got to take care of my body, not risking any injuries so I can sit out a play or two, just making sure my body good because I'm playing both sides.
How have you enjoyed that, and do you feel like it benefits your game on both sides of the ball?
Yes, definitely. I'd say it benefits both sides of the game just because I could tell how a safety going to play, just like how far back he is, how close up he is, because I'm playing safety. So, and my coverages are like the same as other teams, or they can be. So just knowing I play safety and I can take it in as a receiver.
And when you're at receiver, knowing safety's tendencies, has that kind of changed your game a little bit, how you run your routes?
Definitely, because I say teams play a lot of zone on me. So knowing if they zone or what he got, it helped me a lot. I could see like how to run my route and sit in the open windows.
So this was a question. We were out at high school football media day in August when we were asking two-way players about Travis Hunter, what they think about that. Now that you've gotten the chance to play both sides, does it amp up your respect for that a little bit more?
Definitely. I say it's not easy. It's definitely tiring. I ain't gonna lie.
What's a better feeling? Because you've done both of these this year.
Yes, sir.
Pick six or a touchdown catch?
If it's a blur, I'm gonna go touchdown catch. But other than that, I'm gonna say pick six.
Man, it's quite the feeling. We saw a great one last night in the Jags game. This is previously recorded. Everyone will be seeing that Wednesday night. And you guys, you got a big matchup this week against the Fletcher Senators, our game of the week. What are you looking forward to on Friday night?
Man, we finna come out, tweet, we finna definitely get the win. Them boys better come out because we coming out for sure. We gonna do whatever to get that win for sure.
You guys got a lot of talent out here at Mandarin, and how do you feel this team has kind of gelled together as the season's going on?
I say our work ethic and like how we a team. Like we don't really argue. Like we practice hard, we work hard. We just a team. Like we don't really do that arguing and getting on to each other like that. We just stay together, be positive, and just be a good team.
You guys came out with a big-time win last week against Rickards, I believe?
Routledge. Yes, sir.
And you guys were coming off of a tough loss to IMG. How much did you guys learn from that game, and how did that show last Friday night?
We learned a lot from that game, just playing the #1 national team. So we learned a lot just playing them, be able to play one of the best teams, and just go out there and play and then take it in and go on to the next opponent and just blow the next opponent out and just keep going on from there.
I got to ask you because I've seen you play, and you're one of the more impressive players I've seen. The skill you have as a sophomore, very impressive. But as a sophomore, you still have room to grow. And for you personally, definitely, what are some areas of your game that you're looking to get even better at right now?
I'm looking in my routes just to get in my routes more faster and just be able to sit in the windows. Because like I said, a lot of teams like to play zone. So just I want to get faster in my routes and getting out my break faster.
Who are some players you look up to kind of model your game off after?
Jeremiah Smith for sure. I'll say I wouldn't say I model my game after him, but I like to look at Malachi Tony, his route running smooth. I'll say C.J. Daniels route running smooth. I'll say Carnell Tate route running smooth. Them guys right there I like to watch.
So you're a big college football guy then?
Yes, sir. I like to watch college because that's where I'm trying to go right now, to the next level. So that's what I like to watch, is the next level.
How have you kind of handled the attention of, seeing all these programs reaching out to you, watching your games? What's that like for you? You're still a 15-year-old kid. That's got to be a lot.
Yes, sir. I definitely say it's a blessing just receiving all the offers and attention at a young age, but just knowing that I got to stay level-headed, not take it in too much, just know that I got to keep working hard, just stay humble and just keep working, and I know more can come.
What was the first moment for you? Have you had anything that's hit you like, this is pretty cool?
I'd say I don't really like to look at it like that, but I'd say it really hit when I went to Ohio. Like, just after that, it's been a little bit crazy from there.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
I want to go back to this summer. Everyone saw the catch in the flag football tournament.
Yes, sir.
You had guys like Patrick Mahomes tweeting about it, Des Bryant. What was that kind of build up, to it? And then you had a lot of highlights going into it, but afterwards, what was that reaction like? What was that next week after like for you?
I ain't gonna lie, that next week was crazy. I was hearing from people I never thought I heard from. Like, I heard from Odell Beckham. Like, I would not expect that. Like, that's like our childhood receiver, like making the one-hand catch. But I heard he texted me, him reaching out. Just that was crazy to me. Seeing Patrick Mahomes, seeing some of the NFL receivers just tweet on it, it was just crazy.
What's that support like for you? What does it do for your confidence and your drive?
I would say it definitely boosts my confidence, just knowing that I got big people looking at me and watching me. So just knowing that I got big eyes on me, so knowing that I got to work hard and just keep going.
Back to your team here. You guys are only one loss this season. You're playing some really good football. What does this team – do you feel like this team has what it takes to go out and potentially win a state championship this year?
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
And what makes you confident in that?
Just how we working. We really working hard for it. We got one goal, and that's to win states. And I feel like we holding ourselves accountable to it. So just we playing good. We playing good. Just keep going as the season keep going. The playoffs, we should come out like more hype because it's the playoffs. So just if we win in the playoffs, we'll just keep going and taking it game by game and practice by practice.
So before we wrap up this interview, I want to do some rapid-fire questions for you, get to know you a little bit.
All right.
So the first thing I got for you, what do you listen to? What do you do to get hyped up for a game?
I listen to music. I like to listen to G40. Just people like Main Target. I'll say, who else I like to listen to? I can't even think right now. It'd be a lot of rappers. It's all in my playlist.
For sure. What was the first jersey or sports team memorabilia you owned?
I ain't own a sports jersey yet.
Really?
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, I haven't.
Which one you'd like to get, if there is one?
I'd like to get, I'll say, what's the receiver I like in the NFL? I'll go Lamar Jackson.
Lamar's a great player.
Yeah, I'll say Lamar.
And for you, if you're out there not playing football one day, what's your go-to activity outside of football?
Hanging out with my guys, hanging out with my homeboys, just hanging out with them.
What's your favorite restaurant or type of food?
Wings and fries.
Wings and fries. That's a great combo right there.
Wings and fries.
Can't go wrong with it. Last thing I got for you, Brysen. What's your dream? What's one thing you want to accomplish that you haven't yet?
The state. That's what I want right now so bad is winning the state. That's all I want to do right now.
Well, I wish you the best of luck.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for taking the time to sit down.
Yes, sir.
Great to have you on the show.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Brysen.
And there it is, the interview with Brysen Wright. We'll get him live Friday night in our game of the week between Mandarin and Fletcher. Great chatting with Brysen, and man, is he having a season for the Mandarin Mustangs. He's almost matched his receiving yards total for last year. He has more total touchdowns already. Kid's a stud.
Yeah, man, he's an absolute electric player. Really fun to watch. He's a one-of-one, man. I haven't seen much players like him in high school. I haven't seen anybody like him in high school. He does a lot of good things, a lot of things that just people at this age can't do. And just what a special player, and excited to watch him play this Friday.
You know, I had asked him about what wide receiver do you model your game after, or you look up to. My comparison for him, Calvin Johnson. What do you think of that? Like, maybe not like what he's going to get to, because that's saying a lot. I mean, it's Megatron.
No, I don't understand.
But his style of play, remind a little Calvin Johnson.
The biggest thing I take away from watching Brysen Wright is just his ball skills. When the ball is in the air, he knows how to locate it. Like, whether if it's up there, he has to go up and get it. He's going to jump up and go get it. And if he's running down a sideline, he's really good at not showing his showing his hands early. He shows it late, so the DB can't really make a play on the ball because the DB's playing through the hands. He's really good at that. And also after the catch, it's like he's got some vision on him, man. Like he just finds it. He's not making like crazy cuts or anything, just makes the cuts that he needs to make people miss. And he could just do a lot of things. Very impressive player to watch. And Calvin Johnson, he does have some of those similarities in his game.
It didn't sound like you fully agreed with that comparison. What would your comparison for Brysen Wright be?
It's tough. I can't even really think of anybody off the top of my head. It's because he could do everything right now, and it's like there's not much receivers that are just so good at everything. Nothing really comes to mind. And I honestly don't blame him for not modeling his game after much receivers because he is like his own type of receiver. He really is.
He's a playmaker, a highlight machine, and we'll get to see that firsthand on Friday. You can catch that game live. Mandarin and Fletcher at 6:30, a district matchup as well here on Action Sports Jacks 24/7. Back after this break, we've got Coach Kevin Sullivan joining us to talk about some of these district matchups and district races. Back after this break on the Blitz Breakdown.
When it's time to get a new car for anyone in your family, just remember, nobody but Nimnick, the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville. Get the latest price breaks on 2023 and 2024 models or the newest 2025 vehicles in the showroom on Phillips Highway or shop online at nimnickbuickgmc.com 24 hours a day. GMC Sierras, Yukons, and the redesigned Acadias, or get the all-new redesigned line with Buicks. It's nobody but Nimnick, and part of the reason why is this is a first-class buying experience here at Nimnick Buick GMC. You're not just a customer, you're a friend. This is about getting a vehicle that best fits you and getting you on the road, and also helping you and your family down the road. Nimnick has a treating you right guarantee, courtesy, respect, fairness. The most Buicks, GMCs, and Jacksonville's only Car Bravo dealer, nobody but Nimnick. Who has put in the most years and stands behind a better experience? Nobody but Nimnick. GMC, we are professional grade. If you need a quality play this football season at your home, call That One Painter First Coast. Locally owned and operated, experienced employees, no builder-grade materials. And there's more, and for that, we throw it to Noah Schlicksup. That One Painter First Coast can apparently help your kicking game, too.
Well, after my failure on skinny sticks last year on Creekside game day, I've spent a lot of time out here at Creekside practicing my kicks. There's only one issue. How is that even possible? The good news is I know exactly who can help. That One Painter can handle all your painting needs, from field goal posts to cabinets to stucco. They got you covered. Though they may not be able to help with my kicking, they can certainly help with the posts.
Call That One Painter First Coast today for all your painting needs at 904-495-1373.
If you don't see a pit, it ain't legit. When you hear that, you think Bono's Pit Barbecue, a staple in Northeast Florida now for 75 years. A place that feels like home with friendly service, a meeting place for friends, family, or business occasions. On the menu, the corn nuggets are a favorite in our house, but there's something for everyone. Sandwiches, platters, salads, sides, desserts, and family feasts. You see Bono's all over the place in Northeast Florida. You know, there are almost 20 locations in the Jacksonville area now, so stop on by, sit down, and dine in with Bono's. You can also take it to go. There are drive-thrus in many of the locations, and they have delivery options too. Just download the Bono's app to make things easy. I signed up for the loyalty program, and you can too, to get special offers. If Jacksonville is home, few things feel more Jacksonville than Bono's Pit Barbecue. Celebrate 75 years and many more to come. Bono's Pit Barbecue. If you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Welcome back to the Blitz Breakdown, third quarter of our show, Brody. We've talked about Week 7. We've talked about Brysen Wright, getting to talk with him. And now on to the district races. And we've got some good ones going on in the area. And joining us to talk about them, a man who knows Jacksonville high school football like the back of his hand, Hall of Fame coach Kevin Sullivan. It's great having you on the show, Coach. Becoming a weekly thing. And, hey, we're loving it.
Man, it's been a great week in Jacksonville. Monday night Jags win. Got big district games this week. Another home game next Sunday. Let's go.
Yes, sir.
I saw you were out at that Jags game, right?
Yes, sir.
I was too. Wait, did you just call me sir?
Yes, sir.
Respect. It's a respect thing, man.
Yeah, please never again. I'm the one who should be calling you sir out here. Man, that stadium was rocking. And you know what else is rocking right now? High school football in the 904. And we've got some good district races to cover this week. And we're going to start off with 1 and 7A. We're going to go down by class. And some of the tightest races. I tried going through all of them and picked out which ones are kind of coming down to the wire, which ones are the most competitive right now. And we've got a district championship game already. That's on Friday between Creekside and Atlantic Coast. This is a district. Atlantic Coast currently sits in first place according to Max Preps, with Creekside in second, Sandalwood in third. The winner of this Creekside AC game gets the district championship. Coach, what are your thoughts on this matchup we'll see Friday night?
Well, I think this one is the winner's got to get in because I don't think there's going to be an at-large coming out of this group. So I'm going to go with Creekside just because of their experience in these games, and they've seemed to got better each week. They're playing a little better defense. Offensive, they're scoring some points. And Atlantic Coast has been able to play really well, but they've given up a lot of points the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think the strengths of these teams probably favor Creekside. This is a defense that is playing very well for the Knights against that Fleming Island team. It was 2 special teams touchdowns that were allowed, and the defense had themselves a nice game out there. And I think that Atlantic Coast, it's safe to say their offense is probably their better side of the football, would you say, Coach?
Well, I think their offense against quality competition has really struggled. I think defensively they've played well, except they don't match up well against good, strong run teams. And we saw what Ed White did last week. They made a great game. They played really well, but then they just turned it over and whatnot. And so I don't know of the rebuild of Step Durham is doing if they're at that point where they can continually stack good games on top of good games and get there. And I think with Coach McIntyre and his staff and Creekside's schedule that they've got the edge.
Yeah, and one thing, Brody, I think for this game that you've got to watch, Creekside cannot turn the ball over. They cannot afford special teams mistakes. This is a week that they have to, Creekside has less room for error in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they do. And there's Atlantic Coast is a team that's upsetted many Creekside teams in the past. Even I remember my sophomore year, they upsetted an undefeated Creekside team. I think they were 6-0 going into the game, maybe even 7-0, and they went into Atlantic Coast and lost. So this is not a game to take lightly for Creekside. I know they're not, but they definitely need to tighten up their special teams, and you got to keep care of that football security is job security, And if they could do those things, if they just play disciplined Creekside football, what Creekside football is supposed to be, I think they handled this one pretty well. But with that being said, I feel like every time they play Atlantic Coast gets crazier and crazier, and this one's a little bit of a question mark for me. But if it was at Atlantic Coast, I would think that maybe Atlantic Coast could pull this win. But
man, Creekside's cursed over there.
Coach Mack and his I think he said this at one point. Don't quote me on this, but he called it the House of Horrors or something, House of Terrors, something like that, because they keep finding a way to win. But I think this is at Creekside. I think the fans are going to pull up. And I think Creekside's I think this is going to be their game that they're finally going to click on all 3 phases of the game.
And they have to win that district and punch a ticket to the playoffs. One district, this is one that there's 2 districts that really have caught my eye the most. And this is one of them, District 2, 6A. Right now it sits Oakleaf, Mandarin, First Coast, and Fletcher. Fletcher and Oakleaf have already faced each other. Oakleaf beat Fletcher. It's Fletcher-Mandarin on Friday, and then Oakleaf at Mandarin in 2 weeks, which I think if Oakleaf and Mandarin take care of business against Fletcher and First Coast, then this should end up being the district championship. But this is a district where I see this one as a toss-up between Oakleaf and Mandarin. Obviously, the Knights got that playoff win against them last year. Coach, what are your thoughts here on how this district is shaping up?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think those are probably going in on paper the 2 best teams. Fletcher's got a chance. They've got to play perfect game. They can't turn the ball over, and they have to contain, of course, Brysen Wright. for them to have a chance this week. And I think they've got enough guys that they can do it, and it's a good test for their kids. But I think they're going to be a year away. I think Oakleaf's a seasoned group, and Mandarin's a seasoned group. And I think Oakleaf gets this win, and I think Mandarin gets to win this week, and it does set up that showdown.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think Mandarin's the big favorite going into this game. They should win the game if they do the right things. Just stay disciplined and take care of the ball, limit big plays. They should do it. But I will say, I think Fletcher, I think some of their best players on their team are in the skilled positions group. And if you want to beat Mandarin, having skilled positions for DBs and receivers is really good. If they're talented DBs can cover those Mandarin receivers, and that defense can definitely stop, about any of the good run games in the area. If Fletcher can do that and keep this a slugfest, kind of like bring him in a type of game, kind of like how Bradford does with Mandarin, make it a low-scoring game, I think that's Fletcher's best chance of winning it. But it's going to be a tough one to watch, but excited to watch it, and I think it could be a really good game.
Yeah, this is a low-scoring one last year. I believe it was 8-0, the final score. And that's what Fletcher's going to have to do. They're going to have to force it to be a low-scoring game, and they're going to have to trust their guys on offense, specifically their wide receivers who make plays to make a play and go out there and pull off the upset. On to the next district, we've got a tight race here between Buchholz, Bartram Trail, Nice, and Tocoy Creek. This is one. Buchholz, they're in the driver's seat. They beat Nice. Now they're on to the easier games in their district in Bartram Trail and Tocoy Creek. But then again, in these types of races, anything can really happen. One game can spur this whole thing into chaos. Coach Sullivan, what are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, definitely Buchholz is the cream of the crop in that group. I mean, they've really already beat Nice, so they've got the driver's seat and everything. And I think no matter what happens with this district, they're going to definitely get in. I think Nice has got a chance to get in whether they win the district or not, but the other two do not. I think the other two have to win out almost to a certain extent to get in the playoffs. But I think Buchholz is definitely the front runner going in because the people they play and the things that they've done. And then Nice has been coming off a bye week after losing 2 in a row. So I know they're probably ready to get back after it. And then they've got the stuff pending with the FHSAA investigation and the appeal and that. So that's been another added venture that gives Coach Colin Draft some more ammunition, us against the world mentality. And so I think it's going to be those two get out of the playoffs in that district.
I will say, do look out for Bartram, though, because they seem to be playing better football in recent weeks, and they've had some good games with Buchholz in the past. That's one where if I'm picking potential upsets, I'm not saying that I think this is going to happen,
right,
but I'm saying that if I'm picking potential upsets in these races, I'd look out for Bartram Buchholz because that is a game where Buchholz could come in sleeping and Bartram could jump on them. And then this was the other district that I'm very excited to see how it plays out. There's no real front runner yet, as it's right now it sits at Middleburg, Beachside, Ponte Vedra, Fleming Island, Orange Park. Middleburg and Beachside each 1-0 in the district. Fleming Island and Ponte Vedra each 1-1. Orange Park, it's going to take, I think technically they still have a chance, but I don't really think so. They're out of it. And it comes down to those top four. Middleburg and PV and Beachside and Fleming each face off on Friday. And then Beachside and Middleburg next week. So if both those teams win this week, they face off in a district championship next week. PV still got an outside shot at this. I'm really interested to see how this one shakes out. But right now, I think it's Beachside's to lose.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it's a tough district, and I think all the teams are really solid this year. I think PV, having that loss to Beachside early is definitely stings, but if they could beat Middleburg and Middleburg beats Beachside, I would think they would give that district to PV at that point if they all have one loss. But I will say I definitely think it's going to come down to a district championship next week that's what I think it's heading towards. I think Beachside is probably the front runner in this group. I think they have too good of an offense and their defense is catching their stride throughout these few weeks. So I think Beachside is in the driver's seat for this, but Middleburg and PV looking in to see if they can make something happen.
Yeah, I agree with you on the Beachside thing. Middleburg, I'm not quite sure yet. This will be the third year in a row they've gone 6-0 or 5-1 this late because of their strength of schedule of the teams that they've played early. and they finished 6-4 one year, and I believe 7-3 the next year. So all their good games are in the back. I don't think they played the quality of competition that the other teams have played. Coach Wolf's done a great job out there. And but I do agree with B-side, and then I think PV and got a chance to sneak back in and get in as either a runner-up or there's some chaos. But Middleburg, I think, with their schedule early on, they're going to have to be ready to play. And I don't know, because I don't believe they've played a lot of guys with winning records on their first 6 wins.
Yeah, this is a major week for both Middleburg and Ponte Vedra. A chance to really set the tone, and it's going to be huge for both of these teams and their playoff chances. I did have a few more districts we wanted to get to, but we're running a little bit low on time, and I think we're going to hit our commercial break here and back with our predictions for this upcoming week. After this break, you are watching the Blitz Breakdown.
Most of us know how to throw. But you need to know what to throw. I'm not talking about footballs, baseballs, softballs. We're talking about those items you need to recycle. Republic Services explains it easy. Recycling simplified. 1. Know what to throw. When in doubt, throw it out. 2. Empty, clean, and dry those materials. It takes an extra minute, but it makes a big difference. And 3. Don't bag it. This makes the recycling process faster and more efficient. This is a look at the Republic Services North Florida Recycling Center. You can make this process even more efficient. By utilizing those 3 steps, Republic Services can help you become a better recycler in your home. Learn more at recyclingsimplified.com. Burgers or breakfast, you can get it all at Whataburger. Try something new on the menu or an all-time favorite like the Whataburger Patty Melt.
And now you can have breakfast here at Whataburger 12 hours a day, 11 p.m. until 11 a.m. Menu items like the bacon taquito, sausage taquito, honey butter chicken biscuit. Whether you work a late night shift, just want a snack early in the morning to get your day started, or a little pick-me-up late in the morning, 12 hours a day, breakfast served, 11 p.m. until 11 a.m.
A dozen locations in Jacksonville. You can order pickup or delivery and download the Whataburger app. New rewards members get free Whataburger items when placing their first online order. Just download the app. And for us coffee drinkers, Whataburger has all new hot coffee and iced coffee too. Satisfy that coffee craving at Whataburger 24/7, and it comes in a variety of flavors. Burgers, breakfast, coffee, and so much more. Whataburger, just like you like it. Baker's Sports. It's a hometown business filled with hometown people trying to make you feel right at home.
Chris Conley, Jacksonville University.
Walker Wright, class of 2018, West Nassau High School.
Michael Young, Fletcher High School.
Baker's Sports started in a grassroots way and now outfits much of the Southeast.
Tony Mazzio, Sandwood High School, class of 2002.
High school sports, travel sports, youth sports of all kinds. They are a one-stop shop carrying Nike, Adidas, Under Armour brands, and more.
Vincent Caldes, Oak Leaf High School.
Samuel Coffrin, Paxton School for Advanced Studies.
Whether it's sports teams on the field or it's your team in the workplace, like our Action Sports Shacks team, and community events like the Dream 18 Golf Tournament, and many others.
Cole Tilley, Hilliard High School.
Reagan Webb, Eagles View Academy.
Look good, feel good, play good with Baker Sports. Custom sports apparel since 1997. Shop with the hometown team at bakersport.com.
Brody McGough, Chandler Dantzler, Coach Kevin Sullivan, I'm Noah Schlicksup. It's time to make some picks.
Yes, it is.
Week 8's got some good matchups, and I'm excited to get to picking these ones. This one, a wild card game for us. We're not streaming this one on the Zone Blitz, but I think it could end up being a good matchup. A rivalry game between Fernandina Beach, comes in at 5-2, at the undefeated Yulee Hornets in the Nest. This is one where I think Fernandina can compete, but I'm taking Yulee at home by probably around 2 scores. I think they pull away late.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you on that one. I just got, Yulee winning at the Nest. I think this could have been the year they could finally go undefeated, but they do play Reigns eventually. I just, that's just not going to happen. But I think they're just destined this season. I think this is their season to, break into the playoffs, have a good run. I just don't see Fernandina Beach going in there and spoiling Yuli's season. I'm going to go Yuli on the win on this one.
Yeah, I'm going to go with you all on that too. I think Yulee is a really solid team. They're coming off the bye week also, so they've had a couple of weeks to prepare. Fernandina sort of stumbled the last couple of weeks down the stretch, and so I think Yulee's going to be a little bit too much for them. Should be a great atmosphere up there, though.
Yeah, I think the Yulee boys have been doing really good, so I think they'll be 7-0 after Friday.
I don't think that they're going to like that we all picked them, though.
Yeah, that's true.
I remember they thanked us after you guys went West Nassau there. You know what, Yulee, I think you got to take it as a sign of respect, but you got to know, we're ready to pull the plug. We're ready to start downing again. If this doesn't show out on Friday night, if they don't win Friday, I'm never picking Yulee again.
I mean, what do they want us to do, though? They're 6-0, and they're a really good team this year. Eventually, we're going to start picking them when you keep winning football games.
I'm also trying to be right because I think I'm tied for the lead in our standings right now after going undefeated last week.
Hey.
It was a rough week for Brody McGough.
It was.
On to our next matchup, Newberry at Bradford. Now, this was a matchup last year. That was something. I think Newberry beat Bradford twice. They knocked him out of the playoffs. That was Bradford's Achilles heel. This year, Newberry down a little bit. They come in 3-3. Bradford at 6-1. And I think this year it's a different matchup. They're different teams. Bradford by a landslide.
Yeah, I think Bradford is, I think they could be a little bit better than last year. I think this is a good game for them to just keep their season going and keep it pushing. I'm just going to have to take Bradford on this one. Not much else to it. I think their defense is going to do what they usually do, and they're going to go win this game.
Well, I'll say that Newberry's 3-3, and they played a pretty good schedule. They have a hard time scheduling people, so they've always got to play up and everything. But with that being said, I'm taking Bradford.
Yeah, Newberry 3-3, Bradford 6-1. Bradford's looked really good. The one game they lost was against Mandarin. It was 14-7, so a really close game. So I got Bradford.
Yeah, if they can slow down that Bradford offense, they give themselves a shot. I think Newberry in this game has to keep Bradford under 10 points to have a chance, maybe even 7. Like, this is a team that's very good defensively, but I'd put 10 as the magic number. What do you think, Coach?
Yeah, I think so. I think that they're both gonna play really good defense. So I think special teams and turnovers will be the key.
Absolutely, and that's a game where there's really tight margins that you have to execute. It's a phone booth type of game for both of those teams, and those are fun ones to watch. Next one, we got a district contest between Fleming Island and Beachside. At Beachside, Fleming Island coming off of a heartbreaker last week. They're 3-3. They got off to a nice start of the season, on a bit of a skid lately. Beachside just, I think, is on that upward slope right now. They're playing really good football. They got one of the best offenses in the area. I'm taking the Barracudas.
Yeah, I feel like Fleming, had some solid performances this year and stuff like that, but losing to Creekside and losing to Ponte Vedra. I mean, Ponte Vedra is a good loss, and Creekside can be too. But if you want to beat a team like Beachside, those are games you kind of have to win. And I just think that Fleming just can't hang around with that firepower from Beachside. I got Beachside by quite a few points.
Yeah, and I think you guys are right there. Hopefully the hangover from last week, the game Fleming should have won, big game for them, always played crazy, as we talked about last week, always a great game. But I think Beachside is really starting to click and playing well. They had their sort of upset game last week in the first half and then blew them out in the second half. So I'd go with Beachside.
Yeah, this Beachside offense is legit, so I'm going to stick with you guys and go with the Barracudas.
What was big for Beachside last week is they established that running game, which is something they've struggled to do this year. Galelo, really, he got it going, 4 touchdowns on the ground, and if they can have some balance on offense, I know they don't really like that. They're not overly excited to run the football, in the words of Pete Duffy, but that's a team that if they can have some balance and have a threat on the ground, it makes that passing game all that more dangerous.
I mean, when you run the ball like how they did last week, 4 touchdowns on the ground, well over 100 yards, that's when you start getting excited to start running the football. So I think Duffy might change his words this week about that, and I think they'll start becoming a more balanced offense and see what they can do. But Fleming, they have a good defense, but yeah, again, they could be balanced. They could throw it in the air. I think Beachside's just going to win this one.
This next game is the matchup I'm most excited to see how it turns out this week. It's Ponte Vedra at Middleburg. Middleburg at home. They're undefeated, and this is a game that if they win, it comes down to next week. They got to beat Beachside for the district championship. There is a lot riding on this game. Middleburg is playing good football. Their defense has been good. Their offense is putting up points. However, Ponte Vedra is a team that they've got a lot of firepower in that offense. That passing game is legit, and their defense always a unit that comes to play. And I just think that Middleburg not quite there yet. As Coach mentioned earlier, the strength of schedule hasn't been great. And I think that this is a game that just leans towards the Sharks.
Yeah, and I agree. I'm going to have to agree with you on that one. I think PV's going to go in there and win this game, but I will say I think it's a tough game. They got to go on the road to Middleburg, about an hour drive from where they're at. And Middleburg, they're doing good, but the quality of opponents they've played, not that well. But, if PV throwing it through the air, if they can just keep that running game to mute and just keep honing in on that passing game, if they can get some turnovers through the air, maybe 2 picks, maybe a fumble here and there. That's how I see Middleburg win this game, but I don't see it happening. So I got Ponte Vedra Sharks winning this one.
Yeah, and I think Middleburg this is the game that I think they've got to sort of make the next step in the program that Coach Wolf's developing. That they've got to be able to win these games where in the last year or two they haven't done that. And I think this is a big one for them. And Coach is understanding he's got the thing building it now, and now he's got to get his kids to take the next step in their program. With that being said, I think PV, they do such a really good job where they can throw it and run it, and whatever they got to do to win, they're going to do. But I think their defense will be the difference in this one, so I'll take PV.
Yeah, this is Middleburg's first big test of the season. 6-0, have played some other teams. This is their big test. Ponte Vedra coming at 4-2. Their offense is great. Their defense is great. But I'll have to stick with the home team. I'm going to have to pick against you guys. I'm going with the Broncos.
Yeah, one thing to watch out for here is one thing for this game that gives Middleburg a chance is that at times, the majority of this season, Ponte Vedra has struggled to run the football. So there is a chance that if you can slow down that passing game, there's your opening for the Broncos. At the same time, though, that run game has picked up for the Sharks in the past couple weeks. After not cracking the 70-yard mark in their first 4 games, they went out against Menendez, 178 yards. Last week against Fleming Island, 202. So they may be hitting their stride. That's something to watch out for in this game. Now, Hawthorne coming into town facing Trinity Christian. Hawthorne comes in 4-1. They played tightly with Oakleaf, if you remember earlier this year. University Christian 5-2. I think that Hawthorne, though, comes into Jacksonville and gets a win over the Fighting Christians.
Yeah, I think UC. We watched their game. We called their game actually earlier this season against Bishop Kenny, and I think UC had a good show in that game. Barely lost it. I think UC is a really good team, and I got UC going in there and winning that one.
Well, I think Hawthorne, with the resume and everything, and Coach has done such a good job there, and their strength of schedule and the people that they've played has really helped them coming into the UC game. So I'm going to go with Hawthorne.
Yeah, I'm going to keep this short and simple. We're running out of time here, but I'm sticking with a 904. I'm not picking against the 904.
On to the game of the week now. Fletcher at Mandarin. Fletcher comes in 5-2. This is a big-time game where they can send a statement. Game of the week, Friday night. Coach, who you got?
Well, as I said earlier, I think they've got an opportunity to slow this game down. If Coach Faison will take the time and slow the game down and keep Mandarin's offense off the field, get first downs, don't throw it around 100 times, they're going to be okay. But I'm going to take Mandarin.
Yeah, I'm going to have to say the same, Coach. Mandarin's a very dominant team. See them go out there to the home team. I got Brysen Wright of the Mustangs.
There's our picks for this game of the week, and for this slate of games should be a fun Friday night. Catch the action on the Friday Night Blitz, the Friday Night Zone Blitz with Coach Kevin Sullivan and Brent Martineau. We'll be calling our game of the week between Mandarin and Fletcher. Our thanks, as always, to Kevin Sullivan for joining us here on the show. That's another episode in the books. Thank you all for tuning in. Hey, go Cubs.
Burgers or breakfast, you can get it all at Whataburger. Try something new on the menu or an all-time favorite like the Whataburger Patty Melt.
And now you can have breakfast here at Whataburger 12 hours a day, 11 p.m. until 11 a.m. Menu items like the bacon taquito, sausage taquito, honey butter chicken biscuit. Whether you work the late night shift, just want a snack early in the morning to get your day started, or a little pick-me-up late in the morning, 12 hours a day, breakfast served, 11 p.m. until 11 a.m.
A dozen locations in Jacksonville. You can order pickup or delivery and download the Whataburger app. New rewards members get free Whataburger items when placing their first online order. Just download the app. And for us coffee drinkers, Whataburger has all new hot coffee and iced coffee too. Satisfy that coffee craving at Whataburger 24/7, and it comes in a variety of flavors.